Hey, hello everyone, it's Temujin here from Colonies, and today I'm going to be introducing to you all the new Alchemy Station made for the Herbalist. It's a very interesting and advanced station. It allows you to make many interesting potions, infusions and concoctions that you'll be able to put into res foods or use as is. So I'll show you how it all works now. Right, so here I am. Now we've made the Alchemy Station here to work alongside the Herbalist Station, which you guys are all familiar with, and I'll explain how it all works. So I've made this character a Herbalist now. He doesn't currently know any potions. As you see in my recipes, I don't currently know anything. Now, as you already know, as a Herbalist, you can play around with crafting and add ingredients until you've figured something out. Well, let's start with the Alchemy Station first, and I'll show you how it complements the Herbalist Station as well. This uses the new Unity system we've got, which is like the cooking station. So we'll just let the HUD load. Right. So as you see here, we've got your player stats down the side. You've got your name, your class and your level. Okay, now in your inventory here, it shows you everything you've got in your inventory alphabetically. Now when you click on one of these, you can see what stats are available that you know of this recipe. So if I click, for example, basic spice, right? Health, it's not revealed. Blood is not revealed. Thirst, sick, energy, hunger, fatigue, and the drunk status, right? I can research any of these stats. It will cost me CXP, I believe, or energy, and you'll know what sort of stats it will affect when you make the high level things like the concoctions. So let's research one of these stats, for example. Yep, 5 CXP, and it will consume one of the items and take 20 energy. Let's see what fatigue does. Now, not all items have stats to begin with. So how this works is it will look into the database, and if there are no stats on that recipe, it'll create stats for it. So I've probably chosen the wrong ingredient to go with, but I'll try something else next. Right, so that's now there. Let's open this up and have a look at the basic spice that I've just researched. If I've still got some, sorry, I don't know yep, I've still got some. So it doesn't affect my fatigue or anything. Let's do a item that I know doesn't have any stats. For example, a hoe that you use in farming, right? Let's research energy and see if anything comes up. Alright, let's see what happens with our hoe. Now it does consume my hoe. Right, let's have a look at our hoe. Now we've seen nothing in energy. Now I can create different stats if it hasn't got them. I can try one more, but I'm not going to bore you with these videos. It also shows you the base colour of the ingredients too. So a clay jar is a bit lighter. What's a seed bag? More of a green colour. Reed is your green. But ice, which is your blue. Things like that. Okay, so the reason you want to know stats is because they'll affect a concoction at the end, which I'm going to show you anyway as we go through. The next tab we have is potions. Now this shows you the recipes that you know as a herbalist. So it's exactly the same as going to a herbalist table and going to the recipes, use recipe here. So I've got no recipes, and it's also the exact the same as going here and using use recipes. Okay, but I'm going to show you how obviously they work well together in a moment once I get to the end of this. So let's go back into here. Now I'll come back to potions because I think it's more important that I show you what the other things are first, because then you'll have a better understanding of the potions. So next we have infusions. Now all these you need different levels to be able to use. To be able to start making concoctions you need to be a level 5 herbalist. Okay. Infusions, don't quote me, it might be 3. Alright, so infusions are basically an item that you make using a liquid, which can be any of your drinks, anything that is a drink in the game. So water, orange juice, all the juices you can press, and we're going to be adding all the alcohols to this as well shortly. And you will also need herbs. You need 5 herbs per 1 liquid. Okay, now what these do is it'll use, so it's 1 liquid and 5 herb of the same type of herb. You can't use multiple herbs, and it will combine the stats from all 6 ingredients that you have put into this infusion. So let's say the health stat is 1 on each of these. It will become 6 health, plus it will duplicate the end stat, so your 6 health becomes 12 health. So it becomes, an infusion becomes something that you can use in your cooking recipes to increase stats. You can also use it in your concoctions to increase stats because it duplicates the stats. So an orange juice, for example, I can infuse it with chamomile. Now this number here is not how many herbs you want to use, that's how many units of this infusion you would like to make. So because it uses 5 herbs, it's saying here basically that I've got 21 times 5 herbs in my inventory. So 1 concoction will consume 5 of my herbs. Now this doesn't save recipes or anything like that. If you want to make more infusions, you have to make them here in the alchemy table. And I probably shouldn't have started this because I believe it takes a couple minutes to do. That's alright, it's not too bad. Yeah, I'll probably just create another table here so you're not waiting the whole amount of time. Let's put out another one for now. Right, let's I'll show you how the infusions work. Well, I won't be able to show you how they work because I haven't got a cooking table, but as I explained, it uses 1 of the liquids, 5 of the herbs, combines the stats from each of those, and then duplicates the stats to give you a bonus to use in your cooking and concoctions. Now we're going to go into concoctions, the real nitty-gritty of this new and awesome system. It really makes it limitless for you. Now this starts at level 5. This is where you invent potions that end up being usable in the game. So concoctions, you'll end up with a little book here. The book is all the concoctions that you have created but you haven't yet tested. So for example, if I click test 1, that's the ingredients I had used. Down here is the colors, and that's the name I gave it, test 1, and I can choose to test it, which means I can see if it affects me or affects someone else, or I can scribe the potion. If I hit scribe, it'll make it a potion in the game that anyone else can try and make. What happens if I test this? It'll make it, and then I get to test it, or anyone else can be a lab rat and test this potion, right? This one's obviously quicker than the infusion. Now all these give you CXP. Right, so this is ready to test. So it's not ready to collect, it's ready to test, right? I click it, it'll tell me what's happened. that tells me what stats that potion is. So I can come back to this now. If I like the stats, I can go save it, scribe it, and keep it as a potion for the game that I can keep making, or other players can try and figure out. But I'm not going to make this. Actually, we need to add a feature that if we don't like it, we can delete it. That's something that's missing here. Anyway, up here, the 2 tabs in the book, your concoctions are with the concoctions you're able to test. Craft is to invent new ones, right? Level, currently it's a slider, but it'll be automated where the more ingredients you use, the higher the level, of the recipe will be. Okay, so it'll be, so a level 2 recipe will allow you 2 ingredients. If you add 3, it will become a level 1, and so on. Basically, the level affects the amount of crafting experience, CXP, that you'll receive at the end of crafting, and it will also increase, basically, in a way, the base stats that the item will give, because obviously the amount of ingredients are in it, and so on and so on. So then you have the brewing time. This also affects the CXP you will earn from creating this. It'll also increase the stats of the output potion. So let's say you invented a potion and the base stats were 1 of health, 2 of energy, right? The higher the time, the higher that stat's going to be. So it could be 5 energy, could be 10 energy, could be 15 energy instead of the 1 or the 2 that it was. But it takes longer, and it also provides you with more CXP. Now the heat, on the other hand, is basically the higher the heat, it'll increase the amount of stats you will get on your base stats you will get on the end potion. However, it'll be a lot more volatile. So basically think of it as a spike. The stat could be, so say for example, if you were no heat, minimum heat, and you had the maximum time to get the best stats out of your product, right? The higher the heat, so your 15 energy could become 30 energy, but could also become minus 30 energy if you had max heat. So you've got a chance of getting something. It dumped me off because this one, so it must be connecting together in a way. Maybe a little bug we need to look at. So it could give you much higher stats, but it could also give you much lower stats. So you take a chance by playing around with heat. You lose ingredients every time you make a concoction. But if you really want something nice, it's probably worth playing around with it until you like something. Let's go back into crafting, because basically every concoction you make, you can make it over and over again by changing the heat and so on until you get the stats that you like. And when you like the stats that you got, you scribe it. So craft, you can add any ingredients from the game. So let's make something here, something easy. And I won't use something that I don't have much of. Let's make, okay, tinkerfoil, we'll add 10 of those. Yep, sinkware. And chamomile, alright, we'll add 5 of those. 5. They're down here, right? We won't go much time because I don't want to make this video 500 hours, and we'll play around with the heat just to see how volatile it can go. Let's make a volatile potion. Once you've named it, click somewhere on a page and you'll be able to craft it, right? So let's craft it and see what happens. Oh, I think this station has bugged out. So I'll just reset it here, give me a moment. It's probably because I had 2 outs and I had seen a bug before when it bumped me off. So there's little things to look at here. Let's go back in, craft. It should have saved my recipe, I'm hoping, otherwise I'll just remake it. Hang on, I think I double clicked this screen too quick. Let's go. Yep, double click now. Back into my concoction. So my volatile potion's been saved, but I haven't been able to craft it. So let's test it because I haven't crafted it. I want to see what the stats are going to be. Alright, so it's ready to test. Now I can test it personally, or I can get a lab rat like a friend who I want to be the, or an enemy that I want to test it. They can come and click this and let you know what happened to them. They could die. So this one only affected my energy by 2, blood by 1, hunger by 1, and sickness. So it didn't even give me health or anything like that. Okay. So if I like it, I can now come back to this screen once it's loaded, and I can scribe it and name my potion. I'll show you how that works, but I won't actually scribe it so that you guys can still come up with things. So Volatile Potion, it tells me what I used. Instead of testing, I can hit scribe. When you hit scribe, as it says, convert this concoction to a potion permanently. So I can give it a name, and that will be stored in a database and a description. And then you'll be able to make this through the recipes of your Herbalist table, or this table, or through this potion screen, and other players will be able to discover it. And I'll show you how you discover potions as well. Now I'm not going to scribe it. I'm going to see now if I can still make this same potion even though I haven't scribed it, but change the heat. So I can see if the stats are better. Concoctions. Craft, we use cinquefoil, which was 10. And we use chamomile, which was 5. Now let's reduce the heat to 50 instead of what it was and leave it to that, and we'll change it less volatile potion and see if it lets me even do it. No, see, yep, I can actually. Less volatile potion, same ingredients, different product. Alright, see what happens this time. Last time it gave me 2 energy, 1 blood, and made me less hungry by 1, and it gave me sickness. Did it give me sickness? Show stats. And it made me sick. Let's see what happens when I click test now. Right, now it's giving me health. It's actually giving me health. It's better on the energy. My blood by 1 is the same. It's actually decreased my thirst. Fatigue by less than 1, and it's give me more sickness. So it's made me more sick. What an interesting potion that one is. Right, so I've basically described all of that to you. Now I'll go through how you figure out potions, or concoctions, or and so on. So let's say I'm playing around with concoctions. I'm not going to save any of these. As I said, we're going to add a way to remove these remembered things, I think, because once it becomes really long, you might want to get rid of some of these, or whatever. So concoctions, let's go craft. Let's make a recipe that I know exists already in a database. Okay, it's a health 25 potion, so write this down so you've got your health 25 potion for free. This is going to require figwort of 20, and we require golden stars. We need 1 of those. They're hard to find. Now if I give this a name, health something, it shouldn't let me, even if I do this, it shouldn't let me craft. And it hasn't. So if you come across something like this, and it's not letting you, no matter what you do, hit craft, that's a hint to you that that recipe already exists. It already exists, okay? And I know this recipe exists because that's the health 25 potion. So how do you then make it and, you know, make it into a potion? Well, this is where the Herbalist table still comes in. And this is where your concoctions that you've invented and scribed, you can make it in a recipe, but other players can discover it by, you know, seeing what you've just seen on the concoction screen where they can't see craft, and then that gives them a hint, and then they come to a Herbalist table and they'll add the ingredients here manually. They'll play around until they find it. So the health 25 potion, figwort of 20, and a golden star of 1. So let's do that in craft and see what happens. So it says it's going to take 2 minutes to complete this craft. So let's wait 2 minutes and enjoy each other's company. Need some elevator music. Actually, I think the music might actually be finished from the introduction, so I might actually add some elevator music. Or actually some medieval music, how's that? Make sure it's not too loud as well, so I might need to just check. Alright, let's have a look. Make sure it's not. Should be able to hear me still. If not, just you know, type out in chat. Right. Be good if I was actually picking up the pestle and mortar, and actually you could see me grind everything. So this is how it all works. Basically the Herbalist table complements the Alchemy table, and well, they complement each other really. Right, so I've discovered this health 25 potion as written here, right? So from now on, collect this. From now on, it'll be here, right? It's a quick way to make it. Should also be here. Yep. Stand again. I'll craft. And it'll also be here in my potions book now. Okay, so when I click my potion, this is why the alchemy table is good. You click your potion table, you know what you need. And if you don't have the items in your inventory, it'll be in red. It will say you don't have enough to make this item anymore. I think it's the same. Infusions won't do that, but concoctions, if I've got anything here that I don't have the ingredients for, it'll tell me in red I need that ingredient, instead of, you know, crafting it and then getting told you don't have enough of the ingredients and so on. I think that is pretty much all. If you guys have any questions, of course, just put them in the comments in this video or on our forums, and we'll be sure to answer them. The demo is going to stay here in store for about a few weeks after this video. Then they'll disappear, and you'll be able to play around with them, discover if there's, you know, figure out if there's any bugs that we need to report. And yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed and you have a wonderful time.